Howdy, everyone. Matt here. I got a question for you. Do you get outraged when you see those job postings at restaurants or gas stations that say, well, look, our managers make $100 million a year or whatever? Let's talk about it. All right, everyone. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Matt. I am Matt the PT, coming at you with another video on another topic of something from the physical therapy world. And before we get into it, thank you to everyone who has subscribed. If you haven't, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you enjoy the video, hit that thumbs up. But getting right in on this topic, it's something I have seen too many times, and it has I just have two huge issues with it. And if you're really wondering what it is, it's when individuals get on social media in a PT group or maybe something like LinkedIn, which I saw one of these on LinkedIn here recently, and they show a picture of a sign outside of a store. And if you're here in the South, like I am, you probably have seen it at Buc-ee's, and I'll show you right there. That's what that sign looks up. They have them in every single Buc-ee's in the store and outside. But then someone shared this picture here of McDonald's and saying our general managers, $95,000. And somebody posted that online and just wants to start this big thing. And it, like I said, it drives me nuts for two reasons. Okay, two major reasons, and I want to really get into this. The first part of it is that why it drives me nuts is that no one actually takes the time to investigate this more than a surface level. They just see that number. You see that number up there at Buc-ee's. Oh, the general managers make $175,000. The general manager of this McDonald's, $95,000. Oh my gosh, what? That's just amazing. We don't do anything like that here. We make nothing like that, and they just go on and on and on. And the thing is that, and liken this to what you may have experienced as a physical therapist when you work with patients, but when those things come up, people are only looking at the negative aspect of where they are. So I'm going to look at the negative aspects of my job and only the positive things that I can see about that job. And how this relates over to like the physical therapy with patients is I've experienced this. Maybe you have. Have you had people come in that talk about their job and that they are upset with some aspect of it? How much are they just ranting negatively about their job? That they're not respected, it's too hard, or they do this, they don't pay enough, they don't do this, the manager just said this to me, this, and they're just there. And then, what do they say about this other job that they see? Oh, if I go over there and work, I can make $5 more an hour. Oh, I don't have to work on weekends. Oh, I can set my hours on here. Oh, they do this with their employees. They're only talking about the positives of this other thing that they see. And I would tell you a funny thing that will come up if you've seen people for long enough and you've got return patients, because you do a great job with people and they come back to you for those aches and pains. But you find out, man, yeah, they went over and got that job, and guess what? That job that they talk so highly about, they're just trashing it, all the negative aspects. So the story just changed. And that, okay, that's kind of the basis of this. I want to dissect that just a little bit more. And I've pointed this out in a previous video. I just want to point it out in this one here because we got another example. And like I said, the people starting this just don't care. Now, first off, we'll use McDonald's and Buc-ee's, the examples that I gave, but there's more out there. I've seen other stuff like Panda Express, I've seen them with their job posting, but they talk about those general managers, okay, making all that money. Let me ask you this question, okay? Is McDonald's or Buc-ee's going to hire you to be that general manager just because you have a doctorate degree? Is that what just qualifies you? That's what it really seems like. That, I should be able to get that job. I could just walk in there and just get that job because you know what? I got a doctorate degree. I have this high level education, I should be able to get that job. Do you think either one of those places are going to hire you off the street when you have no experience in their area, in the service area, in the restaurant area, that you have no background or experience or any of that? Okay? Are they going to hire you for that? No. No. Who are they going to hire? Somebody who has worked their way up. Now, especially like Buc-ee's, huge company like that, you're going to work your way up. McDonald's, same thing. You're going to work your way up. And how long do you think it's going to take you to get there? Now, I looked this up. I did look this up. Now, like McDonald's, I did see some stuff, and this will play over to something else here in just a moment, that there have been times where people can just work up to that pretty quickly. Okay, they can just move up to that general manager position really, really quickly. But that may be telling of something else down the line. But something big like Buc-ee's or any of these big time says, how long do you think it will take you to get to that position? Okay. If you don't come in with any experience, because they want somebody with that experience, either you've worked your way up over the years, or you have it somewhere else, you've left, and you're bringing that experience over to them. But if you're going to work your way up, how long do you think it's going to take you to get to that? Okay. How long? Okay. However many Buc-ee's there are means that's however many general managers they got. And if the person ahead of you isn't going to be retiring or leaving for the next 10 or 20 years, you could get stuck. You could just get, hey, nobody's moving. I'm just stuck right here at this level. Okay. You got to keep that in mind. Now, another part of that, okay, if you're the GM, what is actually your job requirements? Okay. Have you thought about that? If you're working somewhere like McDonald's or Buc-ee's, what do you think your job requirements are? Do you think that you're just sitting in a back room and I'm just typing on the computer and I'm watching the employees and they're doing that? Or do you think as the GM that your job is every job, that you are doing everything? I will never forget this. I worked in a factory one summer during college, and I will never forget the plant manager out there on the floor, elbow deep in a machine, in dress clothes, elbow deep in a machine, fixing it. And I said, what are you doing out here, boss? He's like, I'm the one that's got to be out here fixing this thing. So you as the manager, you as that GM, you are doing everything. Yes, you're going to be in your office doing the admin stuff and the ordering and doing all that stuff. But hey, you're working at McDonald's or you're working at Buc-ee's and there's a big rush that comes in and you don't have enough coverage. Guess who's going to be out there? You better be getting out there. Oh, guess what? The evening crew, we had to let go 3 people. They just quit. We need to get help. Well, you better be out there working. Oh, the morning person just called in sick. They can't be in because they got the flu. Guess who's going to be there early in the morning working that? And that lends over to the next thing. How many hours you think you're going to be working a week? You think you're going to go in at 9 every day and get off at 5? Oh, I'm just doing 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. That's all I do. And I clock out and I go home. Or no, you're going to be up there from the first time that store opens till well after it closes. And it could be 5, 6, 7 days a week. You could be there every single day. Do you realize that? That's what the manager does. That's them. They are doing everything around the clock all the time. They're always having to be there. And this goes over to another thing. Really, okay? Is who do you think, how secure do you think that position is? And some dingus wanted to argue with me over this, especially I like the McDonald's one. I said, how secure do you think that job is? How secure is that job? Okay. He said, well, I think it's going to be pretty secure. That shows you have no idea with the corporate world. So think about this. With a corporate job, that's going to be a corporate. That's a big corporation, McDonald's. Who's responsible for how that store performs? Who's responsible? Is it the cashiers? Is it the people stocking stuff or those employees? Or is it the GM? Is it that general manager? If that store is underperforming or not doing well, or there's issues going on, who's behind is it? Who's the one that gets cut? Who's the one that's going to get let go? Who's the one? Okay. Do you think the people above them are going to be like, we completely understand. We'll give you another 6 months. No. If you're not making that company money, your store's not doing well, we're going to get you gone. Or what happens if new management comes in? New CEO gets hired on, new area vice president or whatever comes on, and they don't like the old management people. Whoop, cut, gone. You think they're going to fire the people who, like the front end people who work there? Very often not. Okay. They're going to need those people still working. Okay. But you know what? Yeah, we can cut all these managers because, yeah, we don't think they're going to play ball. We didn't like them, from those other people. We're going to cut all of them. Likewise, money. Speaking of money, who's the larger expense there for that company? Who's the larger one going to be the expense of the salary? You're making 95,000, talking about 95,000, 100 some odd thousand, 200 some odd thousand over there at Buc-ee's. New management comes in, stuff ain't doing real well. You know what we can do? Let's fire all these level of managers. We can just hire new ones into it for a much lower price, and we can save a ton of money because we fired all these people here. I believe Disney did that a few years ago. I had a buddy that worked for him years ago, and Disney went through that. They fired a whole bunch of management. From what he told me, they fired a whole bunch of management who had been there for years, and it was just making so much money because of the experience they had. And it did hurt them, because then they brought in this new management that didn't have that experience and that knowledge and understanding, but it saved them a ton of money. Do you think that's going to happen? Yeah, that's down. Now, the last little bit here, okay? And nobody wanted to really point this out. What does that McDonald's sign say? Is that, and the dingus on LinkedIn was like, $95,000 salary. Does that say $95,000 or $95,000 in total compensation? Okay. Okay. That's the thing. I Google searched it. I just looked it up real quick. The average salary for a GM at McDonald's is somewhere between $40,000 and $60,000. They're adding in bonuses on here. They're adding in everything. That's the thing of, like, if you got a sales rep that, wants you to get into sales. Oh, we had somebody for 1 week, they sold $100,000 worth of stuff over here. Yeah, they're going to tell you about this outlier that's so big. They're not going to give you that actual average. It's going to be way lower. They're going to inflate things so much. So think about that. You're going to go work at a McDonald's as a GM. You're going to be working, 16, 18 hours a day, possibly, 5, 6, 7 days a week, doing all those jobs, doing all of that, for what, 60 some odd $1,000 with the possibility of bonuses. If you hit that and you're managing people, trying to get them, because your bonus can be, depend upon the people that you have there. Okay. All that. You know what the turnover rate, because this is the guy I get into, he goes, well, I said, and I brought this up. Why do you think those jobs are posted? Why do you think they're so public? Why do you think they're there? It's a sales. It is a sales ad. And he said, well, I think that general manager, they just moved on to bigger, better, they just moved up. You honestly think a company like McDonald's is funneling people up into upper management like that? Or no, people are quitting. Okay. The turnover rate for a GM at McDonald's is around 20%. Okay. They're not moving up into it. They're getting sick of it and quitting because they're working like crazy. Okay. That's the actual honesty thing of it. Okay. People, again, oh, this wonderful, amazing, cool thing. But no, that's what drives me nuts, is no one actually digs into it. Now, the other aspect of this that drives me nuts is that people put this up there and nobody wants to try to work for a solution. Okay. It's all just whining and complaining and, man, this didn't do this, and this is the problem over here. And nobody actually gives a good solution, and definitely nobody tries to do anything on it. That's honestly, it just turns into just a bunch of whining and complaining. So these posts like this are just rage bait for engagement. That's all they are. And I'm starting to call them out like that. This is just rage bait for engagement. You don't actually want a solution. You just want people to start engaging with what you post on there. Now, I know what you're saying. Man, well, what's the solution? You should give that. Okay. First off, don't be blaming the APTA. That's just the scapegoat everybody does. Okay. Everybody, well, the APTA. Okay. I have the conspiracy theory about stuff going on with the APTA. Yeah, it was a therapist back in the 80s and 90s doing this, very subpar treatment, living off these high reimbursement rates and not really wanting to try to move the profession. And that's what they wanted the APTA to defend. Okay. They just wanted the APTA to defend their ability to use hot packs and ultrasound and that kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah. And we're just going to take them out because you don't even have to involve the APTA on this. You want a solution? Start getting pressure out there, because why is school so expensive? I'm not talking about PT school. Why is college itself so expensive? Why are we not trying to put pressure on whomever, legislators, whoever, to start lowering the cost of school? Honestly, I'm not saying make it free. I'm not saying that. To lower the cost of school. Also, why is undergrad 4 years? Do we honestly need 4 years of undergraduate? Do we need 2 maths and 2 sciences and 2 English and a literature class and 16 electives? Do we actually need that much? Could we redo the curriculum for an undergraduate degree and make it where it is 2.5, 3 years? Honestly, to make it more relevant for what we do now in today's world. Why are we not putting pressure on these colleges and universities to do that? Nobody's bringing it up, okay? Nobody's bringing it up to say, hey, understand, you want to pay to go to school because, whatever, you have to pay employees and do all that. Yes, you can make it where you can pay for it, but make it where it actually is cost effective across the board and actually make it where it is useful. Okay. Look at, get in on that. Okay. Pressure the school. You don't even have to involve the APTA on that. You could do other things outside of that. Okay. And we get into salaries. People, salaries. How about this? Why is nobody talking about like the big companies, the big hospitals and PT companies? Why is no one pressuring them to say, hey, you need to be paying your therapists more? Don't give us this sob story of reimbursements going down. No, you need to be working harder to try to get more money from it, or to fight these insurance companies and getting involved in it, actually causing the change. Okay. You need to be paying your employees more. Okay. If you want to get money from it, how about this? Cut the salaries of the upper management people, the people that if you're not treating patients, because how do we as therapists generate revenue? Is that we treat patients, we bill the insurance companies. If you're not treating patients and generating revenue, you shouldn't be paid over a certain amount. How about that? There's a solution for you. You can get thousands of dollars out of that. Think about this. And I used to bring this up. I used to tick off some of the management of one of the companies I was with. I was like, if every therapist in here didn't show up for a week, the company would make no money. Because who is actually billing out and bringing in the revenue based upon the services that they are doing? Is it the management people who go sit behind a desk and just read reports all day? Are they treating patients? No. And heck, even with AI now, I've heard about stuff like that. That, hey, we could get rid of managers because what do? They just compile reports and do it. They're not actually doing anything to generate revenue. That's what AI, we could do that. And I've heard of companies having consultants come in and look at all that stuff, and they realize like, hey, we could get rid of like this level of managers, and they didn't want to do that. But there's a couple solutions for you right there. But anyway, let me know. What do you think about when you see these posts? Do you think, again, it's just rage bait? It's just dumb. Have you ever actually looked into it? And I also tell the people, when you see that stuff, go apply. Go apply for it. Go apply for that job. Tell us how it is. And see how long it actually takes you to get there. Or are you just seeing that, hey, the grass is greener over there? And you want to know why the grass is greener over there? Because it's fertilized with different bull crap. That is the reason. Let me know down in the comments. Now, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you a copay or anything like that. And until next time, take care of yourself. Take care of your patients. I'll see you then.